I know that I look completely deranged. My hair is all a mess here, but that's because I spent the last couple of hours programming for absolutely no reason. But I did have a previous video in which I calculated both the HP and the level of my Pokemon. As a pet, I decided that my pet Equinox is a level 7 Pokemon with 50 HP. And if you want to figure out how I came up with those numbers, you can watch my previous video. I played a little bit more on the concepts in that video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give my pet, my bearded dragon, Pokemon base stats. I'm gonna give type advantages and disadvantages. I'm going to make it a little bit of a stripped down Pokemon game just so we can see a little bit of that interaction. So let's go. Let's jump into it. In the previous video, I created a list of Pokemon that were reptilian in nature, and then I decided that my Pokemon, Equinox, was a ground and normal type. So what I did for this video was I stripped down that list to just ground and normal typings to get kind of an idea of where my Pokemon's base stats should be. So I stripped down that list to Kecleon, Sandile, and Helioptile. So what I did was I got the HP, the attack, the defense, the special attack, the special defense, and the speed for all of those Pokemon. Then I added them all up and divided by 3 to get the median of those numbers. And the median of those numbers is going to be what my bearded dragon's base stats are going to be. Leaves us with 67 attack, 46 defense, 52 special attack, 66 special defense, and 58 speed for a total of 332 base stats. In the previous video, I decided that his HP was 50, but since we're going off base stats, we're going to have to subtract 7. I know that's not exactly how it works in the Pokemon games. There's something called EVs, but I looked at that document and I got confused and I just decided I'm going to subtract 7 because that's way easier, so his HP is at 43. To give you an idea of where those base stats fall, I looked for a list of Pokemon that had a similar base stat total. So those Pokemon are Tentacool at 335, Drowsy at 328, and Grimer at 325. There's plenty of other examples, but I think that gives us a pretty good idea of where he would fall in the rankings. The ground and normal type that I used for Equinox is a little bit interesting because I couldn't find any examples of a normal and ground type in the actual Pokemon game themselves. Maybe one exists, but I did a lot of searching and I couldn't come up with anything. And the reason why I wanted to know is because I wanted to know what the type advantages and disadvantages were. So instead what I did was I just got a list of strength and weaknesses for the 2 separate types, and then crossed out things to find where the weaknesses and strengths were. So reducing that list, we have the type advantages of when my Pokemon is attacking, it has 2 times damage against poison, fire, and electric, and it has a 0.5 damage against ghost, steel, flying, bug, and grass. Now, when it is being attacked, it is resistant, 0.5 times resistant to poison, rock, electric, and ghost, and 2 times vulnerable to fighting, water, grass, and ice. Now, there is another thing in the Pokemon games, which is an ability. So I wanted to give my Equinox an ability. And because he seems pretty adamant in consuming crickets and bugs, I thought that his special ability should just be I love bugs, which gives him 3x strength to bug and also gets rid of his weakness to it. Now I wanted to find a moveset. So in order to get a moveset, using those 3 Pokemon, Kecleon, Sandile, and Helioptile, I created a list of their moves that were both ground and normal. So So that list is as follows: Scratch, Tail Whip, Bind, Feint, Fury Swipes, Ancient Power, Slash, Camouflage, Screech, Substitute, Leer, Sand Attack, Sand Tomb, Scary Face, Dig, Swagger, Crunch, Sandstorm, Earthquake, and Thrash. I feel like that creates a pretty good list of what my Bearded Dragon would be capable of. But I wanted to create a program that kind of simulated Equinox in a battle-like environment, like what they would do in Sword and Shield or any of the other Pokemon games. So I wanted to reduce that moveset to only 4 moves. I decided to reduce it to 4 moves, that way I didn't have to program all of the moves that he could possibly have within my little program, because that would have been a little bit tedious and a little bit over the top. There are some other things that I got rid of to kind of minimize my program, but more on that a little bit later. So those 4 moves are Scratch, Ancient Power, Sand Tomb, and Earthquake. So let's now do the completely and totally unnecessary part of creating a stripped-down Pokemon game in Python. Now, if you're a programmer, you might know that Python isn't the best programming language to use for this. I should have used Java, blah, blah, blah. To who cares? Let's just get into this. It's just a brief view of the program. You can see that I typed out all of this to figure this whole thing out. Instead of explaining how all this code works, what I think I'm going to do is just show you the program, and then maybe afterwards I'll go back and do a little bit of explanation. So as you can see here, the battle begins. Equinox is our starter, and we get to choose who we're battling between Sandile, Kecleon, and Helioptile. You just gotta enter the number, choose 1. So Equinox has those 4 moves that I decided on earlier: Earthquake, Ancient Power, Sand Tomb, and Scratch. So I'm just gonna use Ancient Power. So you can see here that it shows the amount of damage that it's done, which is at 5.9. And that his HP is now at 44. And then below that, it shows what the other Pokemon did. It did 5.9 damage, and now Equinox's HP is at 38. So really quick, I'm just going to run through this until one of the Pokemon's HPs hits 0. So versus Sandile, I use Earthquake. Next I use Earthquake again, and the other Pokemon knocks me out of the battle and the program closes. So if you thought this video was already complicated, hold on, because it's about to get a lot more tedious. So we're going to dive into the code a little bit here. So what I did was I created a Pokemon class that of course has all the values that a Pokemon would have: HP value, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. And then there's all these getter and setter methods which set the all those values and then get all those values. So what I didn't do in this program was I didn't do anything with the typings. So there's 328 different possible combinations because there's 16 different types, and so that's 328 interactions, and I just didn't feel like programming all of that, so there is no type interaction within this program. What is in here, however, is the damage done equation, which I thought would have been simple, but this is the whole equation. You can see that on the screen. I didn't take into account the level because based on my program, all the Pokemon are at level 1, so it's just 2/5 for that part right there. We can just use a stagnant number. Also missing from my program is that the fact that sometimes Pokemon moves don't hit, so I didn't include that random calculation. So all the moves have 100% accuracy for the sake of simplicity. And the opposing Pokemon has the exact same moveset as Equinox. Again, just for simplicity. But, yeah. I think the The summation of this video is that took way too much work, way too much time, was way overcomplicated, was not that interesting, and I don't know why I did this.